Hi everyone, this is Mihai with another review episode, and today we are live with our very first interview from the bar world. Today I had a very nice chat with my fellow colleague Robert Marshall, who is a brand ambassador for the Remy Martin group, and he works as a private consultant for BDG Romania. We've talked today about Metax, about Contro, about margaritas, about his background in acting and filmmaking and all this kind of stuff that he is very passionate about, including singing. And we had a very nice chat about his travels to Romania, to the Transylvania area, where he actually made a documentary, and we share a very nice story about him and Prince Charles. So if I piqued your interest, please stay tuned with us, and let's see together the full episode that I've made with Robert Marshall here at the Visible Studios in the city center of Brașov, Romania. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank our partners for making this happen. So thank you, Monin Romania, for this partnership, as well as Visible Studios. Enjoy. So, Robert Marshall, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very good. Welcome to Brașov.
Thank you.
So, what's your business here?
I just decided I'd come and give you a visit because you seemed a bit lonely.
That's right, because we haven't made an interview or a podcast for such a long time. Yeah. So, with you today, we're going to break the ice.
That's great. Yeah, I've been meaning to come for a long time because we've been talking about doing this for a while.
Yeah,
and we're going to do it online because of the pandemic. But yeah, finally I've managed to make it here because I've had a few things to do today, which was nice. But yeah, this is perfect.
So what kind of things, if you are able to share with us?
Of course, yeah. No, I've been in Brașov just to catch up a bit, to see how things are in Brașov with the spirits I work with the drinks I work with. But I also visited a few places and did some quick trainings with Metaxa today. So
okay, so for the ones that are looking now at our discussion, can you say a bit about yourself? What is your background, so that they can understand fully what you are doing in Brașov?
Well, I'm an Englishman living in Romania.
Oh, really? An Englishman?
An Englishman living in Romania, legally. I have permanent residency here.
Oh, okay, congratulations.
I've applied for citizenship. So,
nice.
Yeah. So I've been here like 13 years in Romania. Yeah, so a long time. So since 2007. I kind of fell in love with Romania and ended up staying longer than I thought. And now I'm almost 40 and I'm still in Romania. And
how long was initially your plan to stay here?
I think originally I was intending maybe a year to just like see how it was. Yeah, and then maybe a year turned into 2 years, 3 years. And then, suddenly I arrived at where I am now, which is 13 years. But yeah, I came, just to experience Romania, and I ended up working in the wine business, the Romanian wine business, working for a Romanian winery. And I did that for quite a few years. I was working in sales and marketing. And during that period, I learned a lot about Romanian wine and wine in general, and also about the hospitality market in Romania. And at the same time, I was simultaneously doing lots of courses in the UK. I was doing my WSET courses in wine and spirits. So I built up my education there. And then at some point I decided I was going to go freelance and be a freelance consultant, and to try and use the knowledge that I knew from the UK market and the knowledge I knew from the Romanian market. And for the last several years, I've been working as a consultant in the wine and spirits industry, and I've been specifically working with Remy Martin with their portfolio as a brand ambassador in Romania. So I work all across Romania doing education, trainings, tastings, these kind of things.
Yeah, so I've seen today on your Instagram account or Alex account, if I'm not mistaken. So you had a small presentation with Remy Martin, a liquor store.
Yeah, I just visited a few small liquor stores, which are still open in this period, because often I'm visiting bars and restaurants, but as you know, a lot of them are closed right now. So I visited a few liquor stores and we tasted some Metaxa premium products, let's say. So we tasted some aged Metaxa spirits, which I think we're going to taste today.
Yeah, really soon. But before that, so I will ask my colleague Claudio to put the general image. So here we have some bottles that we're going to dwell right in, but in a moment. I want to ask you first. So what are the biggest, let's not say the biggest, the most popular types of wine in Romania that attracted you for this kind of stuff?
What are my personal favorites, or what do I think has?
Yeah, because I've seen on your account that you have a lot of activities, or used to, with the wine industry in Romania. So I just want to know, how come an Englishman came to Romania to taste our wine?
Well, it's all kind of coincidental. I mean, it's like, firstly, I'm an Englishman, so I quite like a drink. So that's,
okay.
You know, that's immediately I'm qualified. But yeah, I mean, I have a background. I used to work in the restaurant industry in Britain when I was a student, when I was studying, and afterwards as well. So I'd come into contact with working in the bar industry and working in the restaurant industry and trying and tasting wines. And it was all something that I wanted to know more about. You know, I was very confused by the international wine market, because there's so many different wines and so many different grape varieties and styles of wines. And coming to Romania, I took this job working for Corcova, which is
I know Corcova.
Yeah, it's quite well known in Romania now. When I started, it was a relatively new crama, a new winery on the market. So we had to kind of build up the profile of this wine, and I also built my knowledge up of understanding about wines, and I began tasting lots more of wines, and I became, I suppose, did I fall in love with wines? Or I fell in love with the idea of tasting things and analyzing them and talking about them, whether it's food, whether it's wine, whether it's spirits, because everything sort of has a connection and everything interacts, as you know, when you're making cocktails or when you're dealing with coffee. It's like there's lots of synergies between the way that we experience sensorial things.
Yeah, you said earlier that you've made the WSAT courses as well, in wine or in spirits.
I did a combination. Well, I did a combined course with wine and spirits to the diploma level. So it's quite in depth. It's both to do with process and also marketing and rules and regulations surrounding wine and spirits. So it kind of covers everything. If you're a sommelier or you're interested in tasting wines, you have to learn a lot about this side of things. But also, if you're working in marketing or sales, there's a huge part of the syllabus which deals with marketing and sales. And I always found the kind of marketing and sales and the way that we come into contact with wines as consumers interesting. This is something that I've always found interesting. So this fit in well with what I was doing. You know, why in Romania do we drink certain wines, and in other countries other people drink other wines? Is it because Romanians have a taste for certain wines and spirits, or is it because of what's available on the market? Or is it to do with the history of the country and the history of the way that people consume spirits?
Okay, so you'd like to do your research, I see.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm sort of, I'm intrigued by all these things. Yeah.
So I have to be honest with you, I've been stalking your accounts a bit for the last couple of days, and I've seen some quite interesting things, but I want to stay in the wine region now. So I've seen a documentary with you. So can you tell us what was that about?
So a few years ago, I made a very short pilot, a 20-minute wine documentary. It's me visiting a winery, trying a few Romanian wines, specifically Fetiasca Regala, which is a Romanian grape variety originating in Mureș. And yeah, I also tasted some food. I met some people in Transylvania. It was a nice little show with me meeting people speaking very bad Romanian, riding a bicycle, trying to look very charming and professional at the same time. And yeah, having a thoroughly good time doing it. It was really good fun.
So
Yeah.
I have to be honest, last night I had someone in my house that is doing some renovations and he's helping me with some stuff. And I was at the computer and I played first the trailer, you know?
Yeah.
And I've seen something there and I start bursting into laughter, you know?
Yeah.
And the guys thought, hey, what happened? No, it's okay. Because I had my headphones and he could not understand what happened. So I think it would be great for our audience to see what was that about. So I'll ask my colleague Claudio when he has some time to put the trailer for us so that we can watch it together.
You make me nervous. I think I might be hooked on you. I love the things you said to me. It seems like you like me too. We can take it slow, make sure we...
Da, și viața e frumos.
Sunteți băiatul Prințul Charles?
Iau? Nu.
Nu?
My plans to be with you tonight. So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go, come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think we were meant to be. You make me anxious.
Yeah, you are right. You looked very stylish on that bicycle.
Thank you. It's actually my bicycle.
Okay, so it's not rented or...
No.
It's not a prop for a movie.
No, it wasn't a prop. I turned up for the meeting on my bicycle and they said, oh, let's use your bicycle for it.
Okay,
So yeah, it was a chance thing.
So for the people who do not understand Romanian, there was a small passage with that lady who asked you if you are the son of Prince Charles.
Yeah, because we were very near Viskri.
Okay.
If Romanians know about Viskri, Prince Charles owns a few houses. I think he owns more than one house in Viskri, which is a small village in Transylvania. Prince Charles is a big fan of Transylvania and Romania. He comes here in his personal time, and holidays in Romania. And he has a house in Viskri, and she must have thought that I looked like royalty.
Well, dressed like that on a bicycle, I must say that.
Yeah.
So here's a quick story that I just remember now. So a few years ago, I was working in the center of Brașov at a bistro, and one day our boss is coming and she's saying, well, we have an impromptu event now, we have to go, so who is in? I had a lot of work to do in that. They say, no, I'm not coming, but you can take these colleagues and do your stuff. So they made the event, and when they came back, they say, the waiter, they're very young girls, they were like so puzzled. They say, hey, what happened? She said to me, do you know who was at lunch? I say, no, who? Prince Charles. So it was a private dinner in the Black Church.
Okay.
So it wasn't unannounced, so very few people knew about it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of stuff that happens here in Brașov.
Yeah, because they, the Secret Service have to do a sweep of the church.
Yeah. But he was very, very cool about it. So he's a very nice guy, apparently.
Apparently, I've heard so as well. Yeah, and I mean, one of the things that he really loves about Romania is that he loves the nature here and the traditions and you know, all the things that have kind of disappeared in Britain. A lot of the things that I like in Romania are some of the things that you don't find in Britain anymore. You know, in the countryside, you find a lot of tradition, and this is a really nice thing.
Yeah, and Viscre is a very nice place to go, especially if you're a foreigner.
Especially if you're a foreigner,
Yeah, and about the small video, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this correctly, but I've seen you use a scythe. Coasă.
A coasă, yeah, a scythe.
A scythe, yeah.
Yeah, we call them scythes. It's what the Grim Reaper carries. When
You pronounce much better than me, so that's why I wanted for you to do it.
It's difficult for me to pronounce in Romanian.
So it was a bit challenging for you. How was it?
Yeah, it's tough. Cum se zice? Să fac... what's the verb in now? You're going to make me say... A cosi. To scythe, yeah. It's really hard work. You need to be strong. And when you see these old ladies in Maramureș and in places like Viscre in Transylvania at like 80 doing this, because, you know, it's the only way of cutting the grass, it's like a lot of respect. Yeah,
but do you know what are their secret?
Maybe they're not 80, maybe they're like 25, but they just look really old.
No, actually they are 80, but they are very strong because they have a small glass of Romanian brandy in the morning.
A bit of palinka in the morning, or suica.
So
I've heard.
It has to do with grapes also, so I think this is also your domain.
Yeah.
What about these kind of traditional spirits? Are you covering them or just wines and metaxa, stuff like that?
Well, I'm forced to cover them because everywhere you go in Romania, people just throw them down your neck. So it's, I don't have any choice.
Okay.
I'm always getting gifts of, 2-liter plastic bottles full of the best Romanian suica. You must taste my grandmother's palinka. It's the best. You won't have tasted anything like it.
It's clean from a real plum.
Exactly, it's different. Oh, you didn't taste the ones from Bihor. They're different. Oh, Horinka is different. Yeah, so I've had quite a few experiences with palinka and suica. I like it, actually. I think it's really good. Yeah. I mean, it's especially when you have it, I think most of the time when you're drinking wine and spirits or any kind of beverage, it's about the situation, it's about the food, it's about the people, it's like what you have in your hand at the time, It's like I wouldn't go to a traditional Romanian dinner in the countryside and force everyone to drink margaritas.
I could try.
Great. That'd be fun, actually.
I think you would have a great rate of success with that.
Maybe I should do that. But it's perfect for like when you're drinking slanina when you're eating slanina to drink suica or palinka. It makes sense. I mean, it's like the food and the spirit, the food and the wine grew up together. So, I'm not snobby about the fact that palinka and suica are maybe a bit rough, bit kind of... Sometimes rough, sometimes they burn your throat.
Yeah.
Sometimes they destroy your taste buds. But... I like them. Yeah, but I've got enough. I've got enough.
Yeah,
I don't need any more. Yeah, you don't need to give me a bottle tonight.
Okay, I won't give you because I don't have it also. Even though my father-in-law makes it at home.
Sure, it's the best.
We are recording this, so it's the best.
Of course.
Speaking of which, if you go to Cluj-Napoca, the city, there is a place called Dot from a district of Toast.
Okay.
It's owned by, I think you know him, Marian Porum is a colleague of ours.
Yes, of course, I know, I know Marian.
He has there a very big collection of palinka and suica. I think more than 35 or 40 from all over the place,
I'd actually like to do be involved in experience a proper suica tasting because
you will find it. You will find it there. From all kind of producers, locally, craft, stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, you definitely should pay him a visit.
I think I should take a few days off work for that.
And go explore.
Yeah.
So it seems that from the video, from the trial, you had a very good time there and you've met a lot of interesting persons. Can you share like a memorable experience from your trip? Besides being the son of Prince Charles.
Besides that compliment, yeah, I really enjoyed visiting the vineyard and discovering a bit more about Fetiasca Regala, which is a Romanian white grape variety. Romanians, most Romanians know this grape variety, but it's probably not very well known to international markets. Unfortunately, yeah. And Fetiasca Regala is they think it's from the region of Mureș. It developed in this region at some point. So tasting those wines was a really nice experience. So
the whole experience.
Whole experience, yeah, it was really nice. A few days, and there was a small team of people. We're a small production team, and yeah, it was great. I mean, I can't ask for a better experience. Really.
Yeah, there was a picture on your account with a little boy having a small cat.
That's right. Yeah, we visited a really nice place in Saskis, I think it was. It's a family who, actually the guy, he was working in the UK as a chef, as a bucătar, and he worked for many years abroad, and then he decided to come back to Saskis, which is actually where he's from, where he grew up. So they bought a house there, and they've relocated there, and they've opened a small coffee shop in Saskis.
Oh,
yeah, like a proper hipster coffee shop where they sell flat whites with almond milk and stuff like that.
You should give me the address, because I travel quite a lot to that area.
If you travel through there, you can stop off. It's easy to find, because there's not many like hipster coffee shops in.
Indeed, yeah.
There might be now. It might be full of them, yeah, it's and he's cooking still, and great place to bring up a family. And there's actually quite a big community of people who have either decided to settle in that area. There's lots of English people, Scottish people, Dutch, all nationalities living in that area who've just really love that area and have bought houses there. Some of them rent them and do some tourism and Airbnb and these kind of and different experiences. So it's like a very positive thing happening in Transylvania, because as you know, it was a lot of these villages were completely empty, particularly after the revolution, because people just finally left that area, after years and years of problems and suffering. And so now it's really nice to see these houses being restored, and people actually coming back from some of the Sash people coming back from Germany to live in these houses. It's really good.
Yeah, and I think Prince Charles had a great influence after he started to buy all kind of stuff there in that area.
Yeah, I think he's like a good brand ambassador for the area.
Yeah.
And also his programs with some support, and I think he's really encouraged people not to keep the traditions and to not put thermopane in the houses and things like that. Which is good.
Yeah, those very ugly windows.
Exactly. Yeah, try and restore the houses back to some of its traditional glory, and to use wood rather than plastic, and
maybe I think we should put some pictures afterwards for the people to see this kind of buildings, because they are quite nice. So I'm curious. So you finished with wine and you got into spirits, or you're doing it in parallel?
I was doing it in parallel at some point, because when I worked in the wine business, I was working for a winery, and so I was representing their wines, which was one single portfolio from one single producer. And I was getting really enthusiastic about wines and tasting lots of wines, but I couldn't really start doing presentations and tastings, because I was working for a winery. But I was very interested in spirits as well, so I thought, well, there's no conflict of interest if I do some spirits tastings with friends and with colleagues. Also at that time, nobody was really doing spirits tastings. There was lots of wine tastings, lots of wine events, but nobody was doing a gin tasting or a whiskey tasting. So I started doing a few tastings with gin and whiskey and rum, just in liquor stores with friends and with people participating to cover the costs of whiskies or the gins. And it was really good fun. I learned a lot. I learned how to talk about spirits or use my knowledge and research. And it became something that became more and more of a passion. And and through spirits, of course, I started reading a lot more about the history of spirits and the history of cocktails, and combining this with the knowledge that I had from working in the UK in the bar industry. I was never a mixologist in the UK. I was never working as making cocktails. You know, the most complex cocktail I ever made when I was working as a bartender was like a gin and tonic, you know, but that's what the market demanded at the time. We weren't making you know, serious cocktails in pubs and things like that. But I always had an interest in these things, and then I became more and more involved in the spirits business. And you know, finally, by accepting this wonderful job with Remy Martin and working with the products that they have, which is Remy Martin, Cointreau, Mount Gay rum, Bruichladdich, single malt Scotch whiskey.
Never get the pronunciation right with this one.
It's a very difficult one to pronounce. It's Bruichladdich.
Bruichladdich.
Yeah. It's no ich on the end, just Laddich.
No, okay.
Yeah, and the r, it shouldn't be too difficult for Romanians because you have a rolling R in Romanian. So it's Bruichladdich. From Isla.
Okay.
So it's not Islay, it's
Isla.
Yeah, where lots of famous peated whiskies come from. So I work with famous Isla whiskey, Bruichladdich, the Botanist gin, which is also made by Bruichladdich, and Metaxa as well, which is the original Greek brandy, which is quite well known in Romania, or at least
it's very popular. Yes,
it's very popular. I think everybody's at some point tasted a 5-star Metaxa or a 7-star Metaxa. But I deal more with 12 stars and above, so Private Reserve and Angel's Treasure. So these are more kind of premium expressions of Metaxa.
Yeah, I don't know if I have I should say this on live, but Metaxa, the 5 and 7 stars, was our drink of choice when we were in high school.
Ah, that's why you're so smart.
Yeah, so we were drinking quite a bit of Metaxa at our parties. Yeah,
good. That's good to know. Yeah,
because you could find it everywhere, and it was and it still is a good how do you say, value for money. It has a good report of value over money.
Exactly. Yeah, they couldn't have said it better. What were you mixing it with?
Just with Coke.
With Coke.
Yeah, the juice.
Yeah.
The soda.
Yeah.
Not other Coke.
Yeah, I understood that. I was thinking like, wow, Romanian high schools must have been a lot of fun if you were snorting Metaxa with illegal drugs.
No, we didn't have any. And also we didn't have the Metaxa 12 years, which is here in our studio. Yeah. So what's its story? So
actually, it's not something that people are maybe as familiar with because it's a newer addition to the Metaxa family. And indeed, if you're really used to drinking 5-star or 7-star mixed with whether it's ginger beer or Coca-Cola, Metaxa 12 stars is where the kind of premium range begins. So it's matured for longer in barrels. So it's got a bit more complexity. So you can drink it on its own or with ice, or in some signature cocktails. So some cocktails which enhance some of the complexities of the 12-star. So I don't know. Maybe we're going to try later a little bit, and I can talk. Why not try now? Yeah, why not try now? Perfect moment. How do you say carpe diem? Live your life. Yeah. Or live in the moment or stuff like that. I think it's. I don't know. You're the Latin speaking. But country. My Latin is not so good, unfortunately. So seize the moment, is it? Yeah, something like that. So seize here, the moment. I'm going to put it to the camera so Claudio will take a closer look. This is a Metaxa My Tasting Kit, and it's signed by this gentleman Constantinos Raptis. Correct. Which I think it's here on this leaflet. Is it? That's him. Okay. Yeah, that's. He's the master blender. Yeah, he's the Metaxa master. We call him the Metaxa master because he's not only blending, he's also distilling. So it's
2 job roles.
yeah, it's the whole job from start to finish. He's also working in the vineyards, overseeing the harvest of the grapes, because the grapes are a very important part of the process of making Metaxa, which I can talk a little bit more of.
Sure.
If you want.
Yes, until I get all the bottles here. So here we have a tasting glass, which looks very nice. I was preparing some tasting glasses and they are like the same.
ISO official international standard tasting glasses.
Yes, and maybe you can tell us a bit about the bottles while I'm...
Well, these are little samples for our consumption only, specially delivered.
But this kit like this, how I got it here, you give it to liquor stores, to bars?
No, this is just for private consumption. Seriously, I just use this for personal tastings.
Okay, so
yeah. So
I'm feeling lucky now.
You are lucky. There's only a few of these in Romania. So yeah, and because it's the reserve range, I mean these are spirits which the prices are much higher for these spirits. As you said, the 5-star, the 7-star are more affordable. But with the reserve range, as the more mature the spirit becomes, the more expensive they become. So with the Angel's Treasure, you're talking much more expensive spirit. So you have a little Wizgurchit. No, I'm joking. We're cheapskates. No, we're not. But we have some just nice little sample bottles this evening for this special taste.
Okay, so let's give it a try.
Yeah. So we'll start with the 12-star.
Okay.
And we're going to move, through the range. So I was saying, what defines Metaxa? I was talking a bit about the grapes, because a lot of people wrongly assume that Metaxa is just another brandy. It's made from fermented grapes, which are then distilled twice, and it's just a Greek brandy. And it's often referred to as a Greek brandy. I mean, it fits in the brandy category. But Metaxa is made in a very unique way, because it's made from grape distillate, but it's also combined with muscat wines, sweet muscat wines, and also with an essence, an essence made from a secret ingredient, which includes some Greek rose petals and other Mediterranean spices. So there's actually 3 components that go into the construction of Metaxa. So this is different to the way that cognac's made, and different to the way that many other brandies are made.
So I wanted to ask you, because I have this curiosity and I wrote it down also for today.
Yeah.
When I entered in the bar industry, like it was 2008.
Right.
So I've heard a rumor or stuff like that the Metaxa company had a big lawsuit with the guys from BNIC, the Bureau National Interprofessionnel du Cognac, because they had written on their bottle cognac, the Metaxa guys. Is it true, or is it just a rumor?
Well, I know for a fact that Metaxa first was founded, the company, in 1888. So I mean, it's an old company, and it was founded by Spiros Metaxa, who was a merchant, rich guy who decided he tasted lots of cognacs from France, and he decided, okay, I'm going to try and make a Greek style of cognac. And he made Metaxa, created a distillery and started producing Metaxa, and used his business connections to begin trading Metaxa in different parts of the world, including one of the first export destinations was actually Romania. And for a while there was a distillery in Odessa, which, is very close to Romania on the Black Sea. So the links to Romania are quite strong for this reason. Anyway, I'm digressing. But at that time...
Take your time.
At that time, yes. It was written on the bottle, Metaxa Cognac, actually spelt with a K, and then the way it's phonetically pronounced. So, yes, it used to have on the label Metaxa Cognac, but at some point that was removed. and it can't be referred to as a cognac, as the legislation regarding cognac is very strict and very well protected, as is the legislation with champagne and many other, you know, brands. You can't refer to it, let alone label. So I think it might have had something not to do with the label so recently, but maybe a reference to it being called cognacing, communication or something. So definitely we never refer to Metaxa as a Greek cognac. If it was done in the past, it's now, for various reasons, respect, and for legal reasons, but also because it's a very different product. It's a different spirit. It's made in a completely different way. The climate and the grapes used in cognac are very different to the grapes that are used for the distillate, and different to the grapes that are grown in Samos. So if you see on the picture with
that's an island, I think. Samos.
Samos. So although the Metaxa is not distilled or matured on Samos, the vineyards on Samos are a very important play a very important role in the construction of Metaxa, because all the grapes that are grown on Samos for Metaxa are Muscat grapes, similar to the Muscat wines that we get in Romania. Very aromatic, very perfumed. So they give these very perfumed flavors, and they add an element of sweetness and smoothness to Metaxa.
Okay, so, I'm dying to taste it. Yeah, because you've talked so beautiful about it, so now I'm just curious, you know.
Okay, so let's smell and then taste.
First of all, I was just looking through this leaflet, and I could not notice, I don't know if I'm saying correctly, I could not help but notice, this is it, the beauty of the bottle. So the design and the lines and the shapes, and
this is something that's I mean, they look even more elegant than they did a few years ago. I think the whole range now, it's been redesigned and repackaged in the last few years, so it looks like a complete range of spirits, from the younger spirits to the 5-star to the top of the range. So it's the design is really nice and elegant, which reflects the spirit as well.
This one, the reserved, wow, incredible.
So what
we are tasting now?
No, we're tasting 12-star.
Okay.
Yeah, we started with 12-star.
So this is our beginning on this journey.
So really, like, the reserve range is let's say starting with 12-star, because this is the matured version. This is when, so, you know, Metaxa is kept in barrels to mature. The distillate, the wines as well, they're matured separately. What's happening when the wines are kept in oak barrels is obviously they're interacting with the oak and also with the air outside. So as they're aging, they're developing more intense flavors. The fresher fruit flavors, the more floral flavors, are developing and turning into dry fruit, turning into what we call developed flavors, you know. So everything becomes a little bit sort of more intense. You're tasting things like maybe fig. You begin to get nuances of different spices and chocolate. So the maturation process in any spirits, any aged spirits, you usually get these more complex layers of aromas and taste developing over time that comes from the interaction and from the process of it being kept in oak. And so 12-star is really where this journey begins of real complexity, and hopefully you're going to see with the next two how this develops over 20, 40, 60 years.
Okay, when coming to cocktails, how would you combine the Metaxa 12 stars?
So with the 12-star, even though I said, you know, recommend to drink it neat or with a cube of ice to enjoy it, you can use it in cocktails as well. You know, it's very good for some sort of signature cocktails. I mean, you can try all different things. It's very smooth, you know, and it's got a sweetness, but you've got the vanilla that's coming from the oak. You've also got this spiciness, bit of cinnamon, and these different kind of Mediterranean spicy flavors. You've got the rose petal perfumed aroma. So there's lots of different things you can do with it. You know, you can combine it with orange. You can combine it with chocolate, coffee. Really experiment with different things, or you can just simply try doing a Metaxa old-fashioned.
I was thinking the same thing. I would try this in an old-fashioned. When you said coffee, figs, this kind of aromas.
Exactly. So I mean, that's a good place to start to begin as a base if you're experimenting with 12 stars, is to make an old-fashioned, just to add some bitterness to it and get, you know, some orange peel involved there, and just to enjoy it and to let it open up. And then after that, you can really begin experimenting with it and try different things. You know, I've made a cocktail with this, which I made it with Greek yogurt and some honey, which was like a kind of, I called it a Samos fizz, because it's a bit like a Ramos fizz, but with Metaxa instead of
I would
gin.
try that for sure.
Yeah, and using Greek yogurt, so it's something that's got a synergy with with Metaxa, and it's got, I mean, it's quite a complex spirit is the 12 star, even though it's the beginning of the premium range, because you've got those honey flavors, you've got those chocolatey flavors, nice and smooth, very versatile, have a lot of fun with it. And because I think it doesn't truly sit in a category, you know, it's not a brandy.
I was
unique,
planning to ask you this. So is it safe to say that it is in the brandy area, but it's something specific?
Yeah, because it's made, you know, from grapes, distillating grapes, it's in the brandy segment, in the brandy category, but because it's got added essence to it, and because it's got the muscat wines added, it's not truly it's not the same as other brandies.
Okay, so let's taste the next one, and while we are pouring, what do you suggest? The Angel one or the Reserve?
No, we'll go with we're going to go through them chronologically, so we'll take the private Reserve next.
I'll put a bit of water first in my glass.
And then we'll finish with the Angel's Treasure.
Okay. So I've never tried these two.
So
the last ones.
Private Reserve is first made in 1992.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll pour from here.
You don't want me? Okay, no problem.
We can open it later.
Yeah, because Claudius, I think he's dying of thirst, and he will benefit for this as well.
So the Private Reserve, first created by the Metaxa Master in 1992, and every year a different batch is made. So it's a limited edition range. When it runs out, it runs out. And this is using like older distillates, older casks. So you should feel on the nose much more complexity.
When I first smelled it, it reminds me of a Portuguese wine, the sherry wine.
Yeah.
It smells the same. Okay, let's have a taste. It's so smooth.
Smooth, yeah.
How much ABV does it have?
40%, same as the 12 star. So it's exactly the same ABV as the previous one, but it perhaps tastes smoother because spent much more time in the cask, and therefore it's more rounded. It's much more voluptuous. You know, if the 12 star was sort of elegant and nice, this is much smoother, much more voluptuous. And you get more of those dried fruit flavors, you know, really gorgeous kind of caramel sweetness with figs and dried apricots. More layers of complexity, some interesting...
Yeah, it's very good.
Interesting flavors underneath. But it's also, I mean, it's still young, still some fruity flavors there. But it's something to savor and enjoy a bit more. you perhaps wouldn't use this in a cocktail. You can try, do some premium cocktails, but actually this is really enjoyable on its own at this temperature.
This is exactly what I needed after a long day like this.
Yeah.
Very good. I've seen that you are doing a lot of, I don't know if there are promotional events, but you know Dragos from Touching Art Cocktail.
I do indeed, yeah.
He's doing a lot of stuff with Metaxa,
That's right, yeah.
Have you been to Poiana Brașov?
I have, yeah.
So for the ones who are looking at our show, Poiana Brașov is like a mountain ski area which is like 12 kilometers from here, from Brașov, and it's very nice. And this guy Dragos is going up in the mountains and he's doing some kind of parties or events or stuff like that, tastings, and only with Metaxa. But he's doing, I think, hot drinks there.
Yeah, I mean,
which seems natural
because it's après ski. Yeah, he's doing some hot drinks. So actually, that's the thing with Metaxa, because it's, you know, considered by many to be a brandy. It's something that's very warm, but it's a Mediterranean style of brandy. Metaxa is Greek, so yeah, it fits very well in winter, but also in summer as well. You have those Mediterranean notes, so if you want to have it in a nice chilled cocktail in a long drink, it's perfect for summer. And if you want something warm and spicy, mixed with some apple juice or some cinnamon,
like a hot toddy maybe.
Yeah, exactly, a hot toddy, bit of lemon, cușoare, cloves. It's really wonderful. You know, it's a very versatile spirit. So yeah, Dragos is doing lots of events in winter, but also in summer he does lots of events, you know, at the beach and at the Black Sea and other places with long drinks. You know, Metaxa with ginger ale, Metaxa 5 stars with ginger ale and some cucumber is really delicious.
Oh, yeah. I've never tried it with cucumber.
Yeah, it's very nice, yeah.
But it makes sense now that you're saying this.
Yeah, it's just a very nice kind of cool, refreshing long drink. And the ginger, the spiciness of a ginger ale just enhances some of the flavors of a 5-star, which is, you know, quite a simple, fruity expression of Metaxa, but with some ginger ale. Yeah, it really enhances those flavors, so it's quite a delicious long drink.
And you have a really good ginger ale in your portfolio.
True ginger. Yeah, natural ginger ale indeed. Yeah.
I know this product from when it first started, many years ago.
True tonic and true ginger and true energy.
It lasted until now, so that's good.
It's still going. Yeah, it's still going. It's still in those little cans.
Yeah.
And it's I love ginger ale. It's like, you know, ginger beer, people often confuse ginger beer and ginger ale because they're quite different products. If you know that, especially like Jamaican ginger beer is really spicy. It's quite hot. Whereas ginger ale in the form of like Canada dry ginger ale, it's a much more delicate mixer.
And I find it more fizzy a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's well, it depends. I don't know. The bubbles on it can be quite refined, I think, on a ginger ale, and on a ginger beer, it's much more aggressive. You feel the kind of the spiciness from the ginger. But ginger ale is like one of the classic mixers, you know, especially in the US. Canada Dry and ginger ale is something that people were always putting with whiskey and with all different types of spirits to make long drinks. And so, yeah, true ginger it works really well with Metaxa. It works really well with Remy Martin VSOP.
Okay.
Yeah, VSOP. If you combine the two, it also enhances it.
I've never had my fair share of cognac, to be honest. I've never tried too many selections because, you know, when you are bartending, you kind of stay away from these kind of drinks, but now I'm starting to be a bit sorry, you know, because there is a lot of complexity in these kind of drinks.
There is, yeah. And I mean, there's a lot to discover with cognac-based cocktails. Yeah, indeed, like cognac's not as popular as it should be and as it was. But there's, you know, famous ones like the Sidecar. Maybe we'll talk about Sidecar later when we talk about Cointreau.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is a classic cognac-based cocktail. Yeah, I mean, cocktails based on any kind of brandy are quite interesting.
And I really fancy them.
Yeah.
So we have one more.
We do.
Left.
We should try the final one.
Okay, so it's called the Angel's Treasure.
Angel's Treasure. So
the bottle looks incredible.
Angel's Treasure is made with
single cask strength.
Yeah. So the idea behind the name Angel's Treasure, I don't know whether you're familiar with in Scotland, in the
Angel's Share.
Angel's Share,
yeah.
Exactly. So in Scotland, they refer to the alcohol that evaporates from the casks and goes up into the atmosphere as the Angel's Share, because the angels in heaven get to enjoy it. In Metaxa, in Greece, obviously the humidity is a little bit different to Scotland. So you get less evaporation of alcohol. You get more alcohol remaining, therefore, in the cask, which is why Angel's Treasure is 42.2% rather than 40%.
Okay.
So it's referred to as not the Angel's Share because they don't get to keep it. It's the Angel's Treasure. It's what's left. So yeah, we will try.
Yeah, I'm dying to taste it. So you say that all these selections we can find it in Romania also.
You can indeed. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You can find it, on back bars of bars with extensive aged spirit collections. You can find it online to buy. Indeed, you can find it in retail in a few supermarkets and places like that. But you'll generally, it's a more selective product. I mean, it's much more expensive.
So the nose, at the first glance, is a bit more intense than the previous one.
More intensity. The color is much more intense as well. It's a darker color because it's a more aged spirit. Spent more than 40 years aging.
Wow.
It's a blend of different distillates and wines. But yeah, you've got something that's really quite special in the glass.
No, let's taste. Do you know the bar from Athens, Clumsy's?
I do, yeah. We have Metaxa has a good collaboration with Clumsy's. It's one of the bars that they work very closely with, yeah.
So they a few years ago they organized an internship,
Ah, right, yeah.
It was like a small competition, and they say, well, if we select you, you can come to our bar for 1 week to see all our secrets.
Mm-hmm.
And then you make a guest shift, and
wow,
you get all the Clumsy experience,
Yeah.
So I've been lucky enough to be one of the winners.
Ah, bravo. I didn't know this.
Yeah, so I've been there for 1 week, and the first thing that I've noticed there, even though they are a top bar with a lot of exposure,
yeah,
when you're looking into their cocktail menu,
yeah,
the main ingredients are locally or from Greece.
Yes.
Some a lot of Greek products inside the menu. So when I've asked about it, they say, well, we are in Greece. First we promote everything that we can here, and then the rest of the spirits. So that really impressed me,
yeah.
So this passion for locally made products.
It's something that's it's shared actually with the whole of the Remy Cointreau family, because it's it's a big international company is Remy Cointreau, but at the same time they really believe in all of the different spirits producers that they work with in keeping this sense of terroir or locality with the price. So whether it's Scotch whiskey with Bruichladdich or the Botanist, or whether it's Metaxa, Remy Martin, they really believe in keeping the people working closely with the spirits together. It's like a big family, really. Yeah, and so it's a very important part of these things. And Metaxa, indeed, it's like one of the things it prides itself on is the fact that it's really trying to create cocktails that have an identity of some kind of locality. Yeah. So
after they opened the Clumsy's, they had the Odori, which was based on vermouth.
Yeah.
And after that, they made like a Greek tavern. I cannot remember the name now, but they had very big barrels of Metaxa.
That's right. Yeah.
Above the bar.
Yeah.
And they were making some very nice experiments with Metaxa.
They were making some wonderful. I was lucky enough to go to the opening of that bar a few years ago.
I cannot remember the name now.
Neither can I.
No.
We'll edit it in to save my embarrassment.
It's very close to the Clumsies.
Yeah, it's round the corner.
And I've been there lots of times, but now I cannot remember the name.
It'll come back to me.
Yeah.
I get told off by Metaxa for not remembering. But, yeah, I was there at the open. It's a great bar, and it's a bit different to Clumsies. You know, Clumsies is like a nice, busy, dynamic bar, which is always, well, at least for the last 10 years, has been voted in the top 10 bars in the world. You know,
it was 6 when I was there.
Yeah, that's right. And
crazy.
Yeah, and the other location is focusing a bit more on cuisine and Greek products, and somewhere where you can indeed enjoy cocktails, but maybe with a bit more peace and quiet. And it's not quite as crazy as Clumsies. But I mean, Athens is great. What a great bar scene.
Yeah. I mean, so as a part of that experience, I've got the chance to see all the top bars. You know, it was every night we're going to a different bar.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're a bartender and you are taking care of, it's different. You know, it's like you have the back door open for you, and you see everything, taste everything. So
you can see the prep rooms and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And,
so that was a very nice experience, and they still do it.
Yeah.
Or they still did it until the pandemic.
I think they're into this idea of international collaborations and doing bartender exchanges and guest bartenders. I mean, it's a really important part of the business, as you know, as we've begun to see in Romania. I mean, I think like 5-6 years ago, it was pretty difficult. Not that many people would come and visit us in Romania to do bartending shifts, and that's really changed, you know.
That's for
apart from the pandemic. Let's just forget about that year or this present moment. But yeah, you know, it's really great that we get loads of people from all different backgrounds and from different nationalities and from different brands or working in different industries coming to Romania and doing guest bartending shifts and masterclasses. It's wonderful.
Yeah, you really organize quite some interesting master classes.
Yeah, we have a guy in who works for Metaxa, Aris.
He has a very complicated last name.
I wasn't going to mention that. I was just going to I was calling him Aris because his last name is unpronounceable, and he admits that, so I'm not embarrassed.
Yeah, everyone knows him as Aris.
Exactly, it's Aris. And he actually owns a bar in Athens as well. And he's into molecular mixology. So
I've been to his bar.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing little bar. And so he travels, or he did travel around the world to Ukraine and to all different parts of the world, doing some masterclasses and showing people the versatility of Metaxa. Yeah, and he's an important part of the team, because I think one of the things that we're trying to do in Romania, because if we talk about the history a bit of Metaxa in Romania, it's, as you said, very well established spirit. You know, used to get drunk at high school. Used to get
not drunk.
Used to get
just
responsibly tipsy on Metaxa at high school. You know, people are really aware of Metaxa in Romania, but because of that, it has somehow a bit of a dusty image for some people. It's something that old people drink, or that you just buy in a kiosk. Yeah. You know, to mix with cola. So part of the rebranding and part of the launch of the 12-star and part of the strategy and the fun of working with someone like Aris and international bartenders is to try and convince people, or to show people, because we don't need to convince them, because when they taste Metaxa 12-star, they know that it's a really good spirit. Yeah. Is to show people like how versatile and how complex Metaxa can be, that it's not just this Greek brandy that everybody kind of knows. And in Romania, it's, you know, people are, they're understanding a bit more about 12 stars and the premium range because of the way we've presented things. Metaxa in Romania was one of the few brands during the communist period that was available in Romania. So it was an imported product in Romania.
Oh, really?
Before 89, yeah. Which meant that it was quite exotic, you know, for that generation, because it was not Romanian. It was something from another country that was exotic and sophisticated. But that generation still thinks that, you know, it still has the same preconceptions about it being a Greek cognac. So we have to kind of change some perceptions about Metaxa. And we do that by tasting and education. And
so you're focused mainly on education?
yeah, education and just and letting people know about the history of Metaxa and doing a tasting experience, often with the full range from 5-star right up until Angel's Treasure. So people really can understand the evolution of how this this spirit is changing from something which is really accessible and fruity to something which is really complex and matured and opulent.
That's actually a good idea, to have everything on the table, from the 5 stars to, that's good.
Yeah, if you do it, I mean, it's a really wonderful evolution to see how this thing is changing from a quite a young spirit into something which is, you know, more than 50 years old.
Yeah, so to wrap this up with Metaxa, when do you think that the new generation will have Metaxa or spirits like that, or like Remy Cointreau, how it used to be like from my parents, our fathers, you know? Like the same ritualistic way of having it, you know, in your home, because back in the day we had this bottle of cognac or brandy in our home, and my father used to drink it, you know.
Okay.
But now the new generation, we are not drinking it so much like that, how we taste it today.
Okay,
like
as a digestive or as an aperitif, this kind of ritual. I don't know. I mean, I hope the younger generation is still going to drink alcohol. Because they're very healthy and boring. You know?
Okay. That's a very good point of view.
You know, let's hope there's not a big crisis where people refuse to drink alcohol in the future. No, I'm joking. People always drink alcohol. Yeah, I don't know. I think what I hope definitely with something like the 12 Stars Metaxa is we're trying to break down really this... the idea that you should be scared by aged spirits because they're expensive and because they're something that's in a cabinet or in, you know, usually an old man's cabinet, you know, expensive cognacs and expensive single malts and expensive distillates. It's like something like 12 Stars is really affordable. So you can enjoy it
it is.
You can enjoy it in a cocktail. You can find it at most retail stores. So it's like you don't have to worry about too much about, you know, how you consume it. You can consume it neat or with a big cube of ice, or try and make a more complex cocktail with it. So yeah, it's to break down these traditions and barriers so people can just enjoy things without sort of worrying too much about how they should be tasting things.
I think we worry too much.
We do worry. I mean, there's like technicalities, you know. Of course, we work in the business, so people are always telling us that, you know, certain glasses enhance flavors and we should use certain types of ice molds and you know. And of course, it's all important information. It means that we can enjoy things more and we can fine tune cocktails and we can really enhance flavors. But you know, I really believe at the end of the day, the experience that the client gets and the experience that we all get is what's in your hand at the time. So if you're enjoying a drink and you're sat on a beach, you know, and someone buys you a margarita, that's probably going to be the best margarita you taste because of the atmosphere, because of the people you're with. You know, it doesn't matter that they've used, you know, a little bit of a saline, you know, additive here, and you know the limes are sourced from a certain place. I mean, this is all, you know, this is our background, our kind of technicalities. But for the end client, I think it's important that people just enjoy really delicious, interesting experiences.
And, that's the word, experience.
Experiences without any preconceptions of how they should be enjoying it. So many people are intimidated by wine and spirits because they're worried about how they should be enjoying it. Should I drink it with ice? Should I, is it wrong for me to think
sparkling water?
Yeah, is it, there's a whole history of the way that spirits are drunk and how spirits evolved into different cocktails that, by breaking rules. So, yeah.
That's actually very nice.
Yeah, so I don't know how the next generation are going to be enjoying Metaxa and other cocktails.
Well, we'll have to live and see.
Yeah, we'll have to be those old men.
So we are 1 hour and a bit, and you've said already 2 times the word margarita.
Yeah.
So what is the perfect margarita? Or let's not say perfect. How is the ideal margarita for you?
Well, always with Cointreau.
Okay.
So that's
it's because you work for Remy Cointreau?
No.
Okay.
No, it should be with Cointreau. Because margarita, if we're gonna start talking about margarita and get our margarita party hats on.
Yeah.
Margarita, tequila, triple sec, but the definitive triple sec is Cointreau, the most intense flavored and the original triple sec. So you should always use Cointreau with your margarita, and fresh lime juice and a salt rim, and of course temperature, chilled ice. Very
okay.
important.
What kind of tequila? 100% agave or mixto?
You can experiment. I mean, so classic margarita, you want a white, tequila blanco, but agave, of course, a proper tequila.
Okay.
But you can begin experimenting with mezcal and with, all different riffs and twists off this, as well as, replacing the lime juice with other fruits, roasted fruits, different types of fruits, depending on whether you want it spicier or you want a smokier flavor. For instance, if you're going to use mezcal, you can, roast some things like strawberries. You can roast strawberries in the...
I've had one with roasted pineapple and it was great.
Yeah. So again, I mean, there's you've got the important ingredients there to play around with and add some spice. You can add some jalapeno in there to spice things up, add some cucumber to cool it down, to add a bit of freshness to it. So all those different components can change, but not Cointreau.
Okay, but Cointreau has a few selections, if I'm not mistaken. So we have the classic or the original. How should I name
I
it?
think the one that's really well known is this classic, the classic bottle with the Cointreau, which is the orange liqueur.
So this is like the first established recipe.
Cointreau as a producer were making many different liqueurs. Their history is dating back to 1849, says on the bottle here, 1849. The design of the bottle is actually quite interesting for Cointreau because it's the original design of the bottle that dates back to the early days of Cointreau. The logo and the design, it's retained this kind of iconic bottle. But originally Cointreau, they were making different liqueurs and perfumes as well.
Now I remember, as you are talking, when I've started to learn about bartending many years ago, not that I'm old, I have studied about Cointreau. If I'm not mistaken, the first product that the House of Cointreau made, it was a cherry liquor called Guignolé.
Could be, yeah. They made many different...
Now I have some flashes,
They made many different liqueurs because at that period in the 19th century, liqueurs were really popular. France had a big empire, as did Great Britain. And so they were importing all different interesting spices and fruits from different parts of the world that people were really intrigued with, and they wanted to flavor them in different things. And so the trend for liqueurs is established even before the 19th century. But there was a big trend for these sweet liqueurs with different flavors, and Cointreau excelled in making an orange liqueur, really intense flavors. by selecting bitter orange peels and also sweet orange peels, which then are seeped in some neutral alcohol and water with sugar added. Quite a fast distillation process to create this very intense, crystalline, clear, intense orange liqueur. So Cointreau is not orange colored, it's actually clear.
I remember now that I've been to France, and sadly I do not remember the name of the city now. I don't know, because I've been to Angers.
Yeah.
But I've never got the chance to visit the distillery because we were in a trip with another brand.
Yeah.
But someone from our team had some connections with Cointreau, and they made like a small escape, and 4 people went to the distillery. I was so jealous.
Yeah, I think now they even have a bigger visitor center and a more of a Cointreau experience there. But yeah, it's something that Cointreau is something that people are very familiar with. They've seen the bottle behind back bars, and you know,
when I started bartending, it was on the
always,
back.
Yeah, it's always there.
It's like that bitter, the Angostura.
Exactly.
It's forever, since ever.
And indeed, when you start making cocktails, you know, it's often the secondary ingredient or the secondary alcoholic spirit in a cocktail. Whether that's a sidecar, which is, you know, cognac with Cointreau, or whether it's White Lady with gin, or whether it's a Cosmopolitan with vodka, it's with Cointreau. And Margarita is one of those classic cocktails that you should always make with Cointreau.
But which Cointreau? So
with the classic original Cointreau. So
what do you think about the blood orange one and the Cointreau Noir? I really love the Cointreau Noir.
So Cointreau Noir is this is a combination of Cointreau with some cognac as well. So it's like, this is a little bit special. So for instance, if you wanted to make a Royal sidecar, which is I was thinking about a premium sidecar, you would use Remy Martin Royal Accord, which is a nice kind of oak aged. It's got more heavier hints of oak than.
Can you say that again?
Royal Accord 1703.
I've never tried it.
Yeah, you should try it. So it's got sort of more. It's got heavier notes of oak because of it's got more intense kind of vanilla flavors of oak. And if you combine that with a Cointreau Noir, you will get a Royal Sidecar, lemon juice as well. You get a Royal Sidecar, which is really delicious.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's like an elevated sidecar.
Okay.
So the Cointreau Noir, really enjoyable. You can have it over ice and just sip it to experience it in its natural form. And then Cointreau Blood Orange as well. So this is like made from blood oranges. So again, it's just another product. I mean, they're less well known. You'll see Cointreau Blood Orange less frequently on back bars, but you know, Cointreau's the big driver for the original Cointreau, is the one that people look for, really.
Yeah, and I really love it that you can have it, you know, on the rocks.
Yeah.
You know, Americans are drinking that. When I was working at a hotel bar and we had American tourists, the ladies would ask for a Cointreau, ice, and a slice of orange.
Yeah, you can just enjoy it, you know, really
or
simply.
with lemonade, or
or big Cointreau have a tradition of making something called the Cointreau Fizz, which is just a squeeze of a quarter of a lime, some club soda or Apa Minerala, mineral water, like 40 mils of 60 milliliters of Cointreau, just stirred over ice, and it's like a delicious long drink. Nice, spritzy. The lime gives it some sourness, which counteracts with the intense sweetness from the orange. You can also, you know, muddle some pomegranate in there. You can do many different twists, add a bit of mint as well. Really nice as long drinks in summer, Cointreau Fizz.
You had a lot of great events with Cointreau before the pandemic. I've seen some drinks on your account.
we do nice soirees with Cointreau, you know, nice elegant parties. It's a sophisticated French drink. I mean, it's Yeah, and not as it's important in cocktails as well. And all bartenders can experiment with it and use it for different cocktails. But yeah, you can enjoy it in its more natural form, which is like, you know, in Cointreau fizz or in long drinks. Yeah. I think, you know, perhaps people are not often that familiar with ordering a Cointreau at the bar. You know, they tend to order these cocktails without ordering it with specifically Cointreau, because you could use other triple secs in recipes that are more affordable. So what we're trying to encourage bartenders is to really appreciate, you know, the qualities and the intensity of flavor that you get from Cointreau, rather than using an inferior triple sec in a cocktail. Is to really go for the best.
Well, I think the only people that are doing what you're saying, I think, are the Americans. When they ask for something, they specifically tell you the brand. I want a Cointreau margarita.
Yeah.
And you know what to do.
Yeah. There's a few brands in the world that are lucky enough to have this kind of prestige if they order it with the mixer, you know.
Yeah.
J and Coke and etc. Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of time for a brand to work towards that level. But yeah, Cointreau is really well known, but we're trying to encourage people to understand the qualities of it a little bit more. Yeah.
Well, you're doing a great job here in Romania. At least I cannot speak for other countries, but here we can see the results.
Yeah, well, we have a good team really working with.
Dragos is also hustling with this one.
Yes.
I've seen quite a lot of, I don't know how to say this, brand activation maybe.
Yeah, that's correct.
Or brand activity.
Yeah, just giving people the opportunity to taste long drinks and cocktails.
I think this is the key also. Yeah. To let people know your product, to taste it, to interact with it, to smell it, to get to know it.
Exactly, and to understand what it is, rather than just it staying on the back bar and being used in cocktails without people actually knowing what this very important spirit and ingredient is. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one more question about the Remy Cointreaux, and then we can maybe wrap the bartending part.
Sure.
So I was thinking how difficult or how challenging is to work with a cognac brand when the new generation is not so much into cognac or cognac drinks, or how do you maneuver this? How do you navigate this?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's how do you sell cognac to a younger generation?
Yeah, how to make it appealing, I think.
Well, one of the ways is through cocktails, but also cognac is a little bit behind compared to other spirits. I think every spirit, the main spirit categories, have all experienced their ups and downs over time. They become very popular in history, and then they become less popular for various reasons. Either that generation becomes old and they become unfashionable, and so they have to struggle to gain popularity again, or to gain back their reputation. It's happened with gin. It's happened with single malt whiskey. It's happened with tequila, because everyone was thinking that tequila should just be drunk with salt and lemon in a shot. And, actually tequila is a really sophisticated product, and there are aged tequilas which are amazing, but very few people know about them because everybody thinks that tequila is something that you just throw down your neck and then regret the next day.
You know what's funny? Because I've started to make, and this is a self-promotion moment.
Okay, no problem.
I've started to make for TikTok 1 minute tutorials about bartending, and I've done one about tequila, and I've promoted it with sangrita, to drink sangrita with tequila. So I've said the same thing. So tequila is not something that you throw down on your neck on a Saturday night and throw up on a Sunday morning. Yeah. So it's more than that. This is the exact text. So that's crazy.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
So it's a common experience. But again, I'm digressing. You asked me about cognac and what to do with cognac to make it more popular. I think it will have its moment in the sun again. you know, it's a curse and a blessing, cognac, because it's made in a relatively small area of France. You know, it's a product which has this specific origin, this provenance, which makes it an exceptional product. But it also means that people have this idea that it's quite a snobby, you know, sophisticated product that only experienced, rich, wealthy, sophisticated people can drink. And I think cognac also are a bit to blame because they sat on that reputation of being this exclusively made product. And
that was was about to tell you, because when I started in bartending, it was like almost a sacrilege to make a cocktail with a cognac.
Yeah.
Even though it was a VS.
Yeah,
you weren't allowed,
which shouldn't be the case, because you know, I mean, there's a tradition of, I mean, the first cocktails were made with cognacs and bourbons, so it's that shouldn't be the way that people feel about cognac. And actually, VS and VSOP account for the largest percentage of sales, and more than 80% of global sales are in that, you know, accessible category. So it's they have a bit of work to do, but I mean, one of the things like Remy Martin is doing is of course educating, continuing to tell people about why cognac is a really special spirit, but it's also, again, very involved in working with bartenders and programs with bartenders to try and encourage bartenders to use Remy Martin in cocktails. But Remy Martin also, they no longer make a VS cognac. They start from VSOP upwards.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
So they're really, you know, focusing on quality. Yeah, other producers still make VS for the market. The other big three, let's say, which you know who they are.
Yeah.
Can say them: Hennessy, Courvoisier, and Martel.
Yeah, so there are like 4 big houses.
They dominate the market.
That's crazy, you know.
Yeah.
Because
also, I think more than 70%, 80% of cognac sales are those 4 big houses. I think that's still the statistic. Yeah.
So
So, and then there's many, you know, family-run small houses in cognac, but it's you know, cognac as a town is a very small town, and the region is relatively small, and it's split into different regions, where the different 6 different regions with where the grapes are grown. So yeah, very interesting region is cognac and spirit.
Have you been there?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I visited Remy Martin.
I've never been there, so
it's an interesting place to visit. I mean, obviously full of vineyards, like working agricultural vineyards. So lots of French vineyards that collaborate with cognac houses. But it's not as luxurious and as sort of rich as you might imagine. You know, it's not full of chateaus and this kind of thing. No, it's very agricultural, because they're producing cognac grapes that they then sell to cognac houses, which are then distilled. And the cognac houses decide on the quality of the grapes. So someone who has a vineyard, maybe some of their grapes get bought one year, but if the quality is not there, then they don't buy those grapes.
So is it true that you need 8 or 10 liters of wine for 1 liter of cognac as a finished product?
I'm not sure. I have to check that.
Yeah,
I have to Google that. Yeah.
As we are talking, I have some flashes in my hand, you know?
Something like that, yeah.
Because I know that they use quite a lot of wine to make cognac.
Yeah. I mean, the fermentation of the wine.
And the wine is not so good to drink it by itself.
No, you're looking for different qualities in the wine. I mean, it's mainly Ugni Blanc is the grape variety, which you can find as a wine.
This is like 98%, if I remember correctly.
Of the
Ugni Blanc.
Ugni Blanc, yeah, and Colombard as well.
And Fol Blanc.
Yes,
my French is not so good.
Neither's mine. But yeah, there's permitted grapes, but Ugni Blanc is the main one. It's also called Trebbiano. You might have had it as an Italian wine.
Yeah.
And they make like nice fairly neutral tasting wines. So, you know, nice fresh white wines. But the reason they use them for cognac production and for distillation is they have higher acidity, and the high acidity helps against bacteria. So they don't want any faults emerging through the distillation process, which might be enhanced through the distillation process. Because essentially what you're doing when you're distilling is you're, you know, increasing the alcohol, but you're also concentrating and you're refining the flavor. And throughout the distillation process, the first distillation and the second distillation, you're removing certain parts of the alcohol and certain parts of the flavor that you don't want in the end product. So yeah, that's an important part of cognac production. Is they need a kind of neutral wine with high acidity to then develop it into this distillate, which then will go into oak barrels, limousine casks, and then be aged and create something really special.
Okay, so here I have one more question. Maybe you could bring your mic a bit closer to you. You can
I bring myself a bit closer to the mic?
Yeah, or like this. You can maneuver it like this. Okay. So we are allowed, Claudio allows us to touch it by this part.
Yeah.
Not here because we are going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So are you at Remy Cointreau, are you experimenting or are going to plan to experiment some new spirits that are from the house of Remy Martin for the new generations? Because I've seen some brands of Armagnac doing some unaged Armagnac and bring it to the market for drinks like a Cuba Libre, you know? So you switch the rum, and you put like an Armagnac which is unaged. Is this the same case with cognac?
Yeah, I mean, with
like
cognac,
a Blanche, I think it's called.
The Royal Accord is a non-aged statement. So I mean, there's the Royal Accord that I mentioned
that I've never tried. Okay,
I will give you a bottle to try because this is something which is it's perhaps in a more modern style. It's something it's premium, super premium, but more accessible for making cocktails and for people who are going to nightclubs, because it has this kind of fresh oak feel to it. So it's more flexible as a spirit to be used, and more suitable as a spirit to be using in cocktails. It's more premium, a bit more textured and layered than VSOP, but it's not perhaps as sort of it doesn't maybe have the layered complexity of the opulence of the XO. So it's something that's sitting in the middle that you can play around with. Yeah. So yeah, for sure. I mean, there's lots of different releases of Remy Martin, and within the Remy Cointreau family, Bruichladdich are making all different vintage releases and organic barley releases and Isla barley releases of Octomore and all. Yeah. So there's a lot of different products and spirits available. Some of them limited edition, some of them available just in travel retail. So it's like a huge portfolio.
Okay.
And I think it's you know, all of the distilleries are always continuously trying new things. For instance, Bruichladdich, which is making Scotch whiskey, Octomore started as an experiment. They just said, let's try and make the most heavily peated whiskey in the world.
We've had it here. I don't know if you noticed, but when you go up the stairs in our studio, there is a very nice picture made from the guys at the Visible Studios where we are now, and we have a picture with it, with Octomore.
I didn't see it.
I will show you.
Yeah. So I mean, Octomore started out as just an experiment, and now it's developed into a very famous peated, you know, super heavily peated whiskey.
Yeah, I kind of like it, you know.
Me too. Yeah, I was drinking some of them last night.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah.
I think we have a bit more in the bottle, like
a small amount.
It's
enough. It's enough at 60%. It's enough just to have a small amount.
Yeah.
So yeah, to answer your question, I mean, yeah, Metaxa 12-star, you know, relatively new release from Metaxa. So I think there's always new things. You have to keep the portfolio fairly dynamic whilst respecting, you know, the the die-hard classics, which have that iconic reputation, like Control.
The aficionados, the passionate ones.
Yeah, the ones that are really, you know, like have quality for more than 100 years, you know, in the case of Control. And yeah, you know, that we just want to try and spread the message and let people know about these, you know, this wonderful history and this iconic bottle, and the process that goes behind selecting the orange peels and everything else. I mean, it's a wonderful story.
Cool, man. So I think we have to wrap this bartending thing up.
Wonderful.
So we have as a tradition, let's say, at the end of the podcast, we allow us a few minutes to talk about other passions that you have or other activities that you are doing. So I've seen on all your accounts that, so let me see if I get this trick. So you are a singer, you are an actor, you appeared on magazine covers.
Yeah.
Is it something that you do not do?
Yeah, I do. I've, you know, done a bit of those things. Yeah. I think alcohol helps.
Okay. So I'm curious about the movies. How did you get into movies? Even I think there are small roles.
Yeah. I mean, I make some films and do a bit of acting in Romania because I'm English native speaker, and people are making quite a lot of films, you know, in Romania, using the studios here and using the production companies here. And so they're often looking for native English speakers, and there's not that many.
Indeed.
So somehow I managed to, find a bit of time, and I do it for fun, and it is fun, and I meet great people and get to work with like international crews of filmmakers and Romanian crews. So like, yeah, I do. I've had opportunities that are really great, and I enjoy it.
But have you been to acting school?
No.
So everything is natural?
Maybe. Yeah, everything's natural.
So how many films you have featured? Are you?
Well, I'm not featured as a star in any films yet.
But do you appear on the poster?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Nothing yet. No multiplex. No multiplex.
But would you like to access this industry, and maybe you can stop being a consultant for spirits and doing like proper lengthy movies?
Let's see.
I think this would suit you, you know, because all the pictures that I've seen with you from the, I don't know how to say, the casts.
Yeah.
They look very good on you, you know, all the equipment, the clothes and everything, how do you say requisita? I think the prop.
Yeah.
The prop, okay.
Well, thanks, Mihai. That's nice. Yeah. No, I enjoy doing it. I don't know about whether I'll, you know, there's a future in it. I do it for fun, and I do lots of different things for fun, and I have hobbies, and I studied a bit of music and art when I was younger, so I do.
That's what I wanted to ask you. So your background before all this hospitality industry, you did the arts.
Yeah, I studied art school at
in UK,
in Central St Martin's in London. Yeah, I studied painting.
Okay.
So I paint as well.
You paint as well. So sing, paint, act in movies, play in movies.
Yeah, I don't dance, so don't ask me.
Okay. Not maybe after 2 margaritas.
Yeah, maybe after some margaritas, I'll start tap dancing.
So what about singing? Do you have a band, or you are some friends?
I sing with a couple of guys who are friends of mine who they're professional musicians. So yeah, we had you know some fun doing some things during lockdown. I think lockdown was good for. It wasn't great. Let's not say it was good. It was good, but I mean, you know, lots of people went back to doing things that they, you know, maybe had passion about before they got involved in other things, and you know, that was the case with me. I started doing being a bit more involved in music again and things like this. So I sing occasionally with a couple of guys in a small jazz band, and it's really nice. It's good.
But maybe you can involve all your talents or all your skills, you know, like singing with acting with the spirits and make like a nice commercial here in Romania.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. You just need to find some investors.
Yeah, it'd be good if I could sell cocktails,
Yeah.
sing, dance,
Yeah.
juggle at the same time.
Maybe not that, but yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah.
So what are your plans for the future? Let's say personal wise and professional wise.
Oh, it's a difficult question, isn't it?
I know. I have the difficult questions here.
What are the plans for the future? Well, you know, I enjoy doing all those different things that you mentioned. I really enjoy doing them. But yeah, I plan to stay in Romania. So yeah, let's see what happens. Well,
you are more than welcome here.
Thank you.
Because you integrated very well, I would say.
Good. I'm glad I don't stand out.
Well, if people are recognizing you on the street as being the son of Prince Charles,
that's what I can do in the future. If everything else fails, I'll just become a Prince Harry impersonator.
Yeah,
and a couple of lay doing public appearances.
That would be great. I would pay for a ticket. And professionally?
And professionally, I'm always looking forward to tasting new stuff, not only from the Remy Martin portfolio, but like all different, you know.
You must have a big collection at house.
I do have a lot of, yeah.
How many bottles do you have?
Not counting plastic bottles of Suica that people have given me.
The one in the Fanta bottle.
Exactly. I don't know, I've got like good 3 shelves of spirits, you know, kind of stacked with all different things of liqueurs and bottles of cherry hearing, which I use, you know, occasionally for.
I love cherry hearing also. Oh, yes.
And lots of liqueur, you know, if I want a watermelon liqueur, there's one at the back that I've probably not used for 2 years, and bitters and lots of Scotch whiskey. I have lots of blended Scotch and single malts. Yeah. So quite a big collection that I choose, you know, I tap in for it too from time to time when sometimes I feel the need to drink rum. So I have some Mount Gay. Mount Gay is also in the Remy Martin portfolio, Barbados rum. So I think I forgot to mention that earlier on.
You said about a bit about Mount Gay,
yeah.
But we can finish with this.
It's right, yeah. So Mount Gay. You know, I enjoy a nice aged rum from time to time to relax, as well as Metaxa and other things. So yeah, I'm always looking forward to like learning new stuff and tasting new things. It never stops. It's like an infinite. I think the worst thing is when you meet people who think they know it all. You know, they think they've...
You had your fair share of those, huh?
Well, I think in the business, you know, in the wine and spirits business, there are people who kind of act as if they've tasted everything. I mean, there's lots of people who have tasted a lot of different things. But it's never a business that you can completely know everything. You've tried everything. There's variants on everything. There's always something new to learn, and old brands to rediscover, new brands to be made, new cocktails to be made, new concepts, new trends, new fashions. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, and that's really exciting. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Yeah.
Cool, man. I remember the bar in Athens is called Senios.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah, so we are having a clean state now.
Yes, Senios, that's it, yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to go to Greece, check Clumsy's, Odori, Senios, and I think they've opened a new one now.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. But I don't know the name.
And it will take another hour to remember it.
Yeah, I've forgotten the name.
So, Robert, thank you very much for your time.
It was a pleasure.
Was for me as well. So,
really good fun.
Keep on rocking.
Thank you. You too.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao.